Hi everybody, welcome to the stream. I just got my nails redone. Look, they match my hair. It's so cool. Anyway, today we are doing, hopefully finishing up the effects system refactor. We've just been going through and updating all the code that hasn't been compiling because for the most part, the core of the system is now re-implemented. It's just a matter of going through and fixing compilation errors. So that's what we're working on today. Mostly just fixing up code. Yesterday we wrote this little lambda and I admittedly forgot to change the arguments. So I just did that. We have ARR here for array. And we replaced this with effect count because it's a reference to a variable. So it will modify the variable directly that was passed in. So yeah, just little things I missed yesterday that I noticed, and I did hit rebuild, so we're pretty much on an updated error list containing all the current errors we are dealing with. Okay, so let's start here with effect data operator equals attempting to reference a deleted function. So this usually happens if we make it so an object is no longer movable. So this is for an effect T. I guess an effect T is not movable, which it has to be in order to set it equal somewhere else. So that could be a problem for two reasons. One is we initially intended for every effect to just be copyable. So the fact that we can't move it means we might have to do something in regards to copy. So this is originally coming from, well, here. Let me see. Is it from here? Hold on. This is where it's being used while compiling array. Okay, yeah, because it's like array stuff, right? So effect list dot at dot effect. Okay. I feel like we're gonna have to do some weird stuff with this because I think every single type has to be copyable in order for it to actually work. And I'm thinking about it, at least we can look at it, right? Just looking at it, there's going to be quite a few things that are gonna have to change, at least about these classes, if they want to be default movable. Yeah, because all these things that are const will make it so we can no longer move the objects. So it's what's the idea here? What could we do instead? We could provide a copy. Where is the operator equals invoked? That's what I want to know. Oh, I guess it's just part of array. Okay. So making every type in here movable is going to be a requirement, I guess? Or is it going to be... What I'm getting at is, should this just be a reference? Right? Would that work instead? I'm trying to think, okay, R value, right? That would require a standard move, and that's why the move operator is being invoked in the first place, the move constructor. So if we don't make a move and we return a reference, we're not moving anything now. Okay, so that makes more sense. Don't return a an R value. I don't even know why we would do that, honestly. Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. There's not really a reason to, right? Yeah, there's no reason to, I don't think. So that should get rid of that. Like, I think that was a coding error. Like, I don't see why I would do an R value return in the first place. Does that even make sense? Do we still get that error? It looks like we still get that error. Effect manager, effect data, operator equals, attempting to reference a deleted function. From standard optional T, function was deleted, implicitly deleted because a base class invokes a deleted or inaccessible function. Deleted move assign. Well, I'm trying to figure out where we move assign though. Like, it says it's here. Is that what Anycast does? Like, I don't think so. That doesn't really make sense, right? Or is it this? No, this is, but this is getting like a reference, so that shouldn't matter. It's saying on this line specifically, like, it's like the standard optional is not copyable or movable. Wait, this is an option. Hold on. Why am I anycasting an optional T? Shouldn't I be doing that? Yeah, that makes sense, right? I don't know why it's... Okay, maybe that was the issue? I don't know what that would have meant, but it's an optional and we're supposed to grab the value from it, so... I don't know what it would have done in this case. It would have, like, anycasted to, in this case, T was effect T, which I don't think would have resulted in anything correctly working there. It still says it though. Like, I think it's a requirement for optional. That's what I'm starting to get a feel for. Like, move assign is deleted here. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. Like, oh, while compiling class template member function fill. I forgot we did add that fill there. Okay, I didn't click this. That's probably why I'm confused. There it is. That's the line that's invoking it. So the fill is supposed to call a move. Okay, that makes more sense. I think for effect manager reset, we just like reinitialize the arrays. Yeah, that makes more sense. Just make a new arrays instead of doing this. That way we don't have to move anything and we don't have to worry about that. Okay, I think that makes more sense. So, also thinking more along the lines of this, if we anycast them to optionals, like, is that what we want? I don't think that's what we want then. Effect ref should be actual effects inside the optional. So I think that was a bug too that we would have had to address eventually. But yes, I think for these two, we just initialize them to new instances of the array. Essentially a reset function, right? Effect data, comma, effect limit. Not assignable. It's a deleted function. I guess because it would be like moved as well. Like, I want entirely brand new instances of them, but I guess that's not how that works. Because assignment is supposed to like take the data members and set them equal to, but inside effect data we have an optional effect T, and some effects can't be moved, which is where I think the problem lies, is the standard variant can hold any of these, but I guess it becomes non-movable because one of these is not movable. I think that's how this works. Because I tested a long time ago, like, okay, can I assign a variant to another variant? But that was under the assumption both variants could be moved. So if one variant cannot be moved, I guess it becomes unassignable, unreassignable. Which would make sense, I guess, if we think about it in the sense of it being an object of a certain type. Like, okay, so here's effect A. Let me just add a const member. And by adding a const member, effect A is no longer move assignable because you can't change the value of the const value. So if we then did objects 0 equals objects 1, any variant can no longer be assigned anywhere else because now operator equals has been deleted. So then it's a matter of what do we do instead? We have to make all of our objects now move assignable if we want this to occur. The other option is to make these pointers. Heap allocate the arrays, reallocate them if they need to be reset. I guess that's the other way to go about it. I don't think heap allocating the arrays would be a bad idea. I wouldn't mind doing that, because that would be a simpler solution than trying to make every single one of my classes move assignable, especially since some of them rely on the const members. It just kind of sucks that that's how it's gonna work out, is that the variant itself is not movable simply for that reason. We could alternatively put the effects on the heap, but then, like, that kind of ruins the point of me doing all this in the first place. It's like, now I'm just creating more of those again, so we're trying to avoid that and keep them on the stack. But now, at least if we put the array on the heap, all the data members will be stored inside the heap at those positions and won't be reallocated. Only the lists will if we call it reset, which is gonna be very rare. This is only to, like, reset it for, like, unit tests and stuff. So I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Actually, let me think about that some more. So if the variants are not reassignable, but we can change what's stored in the variant. See, that's the weird part to me. Is like, I'm starting to think that's not possible either, because why would that be the case, right? Like, let me think about this for a second. So, did I not save? Okay, well, I feel like we're gonna run into this issue anyway. Because, like, look at this. So, we have a const int number in here, which means effect A is no longer reassignable, right? How do we add an effect? We would have to do a move or a copy, right? Like, that's no longer possible if it's const? Yeah, so we're gonna have to do this anyways. Like, let's say we just had object 0, right? And we wanted to change it to, let's say, an effect A instance. Well, we can't because now the entire variant is unrewritable. You lose the entire ability to move stuff around if one object is not move assignable. So we still have to do that anyways, unless we heap allocate. So this is just trying to band-aid fix a larger problem. Well, the easy way to fix this is to go through all of our effects and remove, well, effect types, and remove all the const members, because the const members will prevent move assignment. The other option is to manually go through and add in move assignment, move constructors, and define what happens to replace these two values. Obviously, when adding a new effect, we want to replace these with new settings. So the fact that these are const means we can't modify them, at least not traditionally, unless we make some kind of function that does that. So yeah, then we're left with, well, what can we do, right? We can't really do much now. Like, my other route is to say that these are mutable. But by default, everything is mutable, right? So it's like, I don't know how I want to do this. Like, I wonder... I wonder if I should just label things that are intentionally supposed to be const as mutable. Does that make sense? It's like... they do show up here, so then I know originally the intention was for them to be const. But I'm specifying them as mutable as like as a requirement in order to make the program compile and be used the way I intended. To make them move assignable. Because we're not heap allocating them anymore, so we can't just replace them with brand new instances. They're going to be overwritten with something else, so naturally those values have to be written to. I think this is a fair compromise. Because everything is mutable by default, putting the mutable keyword while it's redundant lets me know that originally the intention was it's going to be const. I think I like that rule, and I'm going to go with it for now. So I'm going to go through each of these, and everywhere we see const, I'm going to change them to mutable. I'm not going to do a find and replace because I just want to review what we're making mutable. It's entirely possible we might run into a situation that making it mutable doesn't necessarily fix the problem. Like, it might still not be copyable, right? Like, for example, a reference. If it was a const ref, even if we get rid of the const, the reference value cannot be overwritten because a reference is stuck with that value. It becomes non-copyable because of a reference. So instances like that have to be replaced with a pointer or something similar, right? Reference wrapper as well could work. But yeah, I think I like this idea. Whenever I see the keyword mutable, it means I intended for it to be const, but it is mutable right now. I was kind of hoping I could put like mutable const or const mutable, but that doesn't really, compiler doesn't let me, which makes sense, but at the same time, I kind of wish I could to indicate to myself, hey, mutable. Like, I could do something silly like this. Or I could even write my own thing called, like, mutable const. Right? Like, those are ideas. Like, what if I just made a mutable const keyword, right? Like, it sounds silly, but, like, maybe that will let me know, hey, this is my intention, right? Like, we can just say... I don't think you can do, like, keyword stuff, but let me see. Mutable const equals mutable. Yeah, that's not a thing. A storage class may not be specified here, but we could do a macro. Mutable const just translates to mutable, but it lets me know that was the intention, right? So I think we're gonna do that. I like that option the most. Because to me, when I look at mutable, or if anybody looks at mutable, they're gonna think, oh, okay, it's supposed to be written, right? But then I put mutable const, that's gonna draw heads, but then it gets translated, which I find really annoying. Maybe I should just make it... I don't know if I can do anything about that. Like, I wish I could make it say mutable const in the tooltip. That way I knew. Man... The other idea is to rename the variables to have, like, C damage or something, C setting. That would indicate, like, in the name that it would be a const value, which is a possibility. I'm not entirely against that. I really wish I could just assign the keyword to something else, but... Or, wait, mutable const means nothing, right? Like, in terms of there's nothing... It doesn't actually specify anything else. Man, I just wish I could have a custom, like, keyword. That's all. That's all I'm looking for. Is this really gonna be our best bet? Like, just the macro with the word mutable in it? I just wish I could actually specify that, but let's go with it for now, right? And I don't think it looks for comments at the beginning. Hi there, Moros. Welcome. Yeah. I was just hoping I could get in the tooltip, but oh well. Mutable const it is. As silly as it sounds. We have decided to write mutable const. It's going good, Morris. We're currently fixing all the effect types to be move assignable because I'm using something on the stack now. So if I want to replace values, it's a variant, but if I want to replace it with anything else, the members must be assignable, reassignable. Everything in the variant must be move assignable for the variant to be move assignable. So I've decided I'm going to label everything that's intended to be const with the mutable keyword. But if I look at the header, I'm writing a macro called mutable const, so I know that's what that means. It doesn't appear in the tooltip though, because the macro resolves to the mutable keyword, which is like, whatever. That's the best we're gonna get without me changing the variable names to like C whatever. Like the intention was for them to be const. Absolutely lovely contradiction, indeed. It will draw enough attention that you have to think about it and realize what the intention was. And that's enough for me in the future to be like, oh, that's why we did that. It's mutable, but I don't want it to be. You'll never know. It's gonna be one or the other. It's constant, but not. Alright, let's see if this builds. I didn't see any references being stored, so I don't think there's anything else that would prevent this from being move assignable. Will the templating engine agree? Or will it hate me? Is this quantum computing? Could be. Okay, it looks like everything's move assignable now. It's happy, it's not complaining about the fill function. So let's investigate these guys now. It looks like we're just not using effect data correctly. I did change the constructor at some point, so I have a feeling this just bled into that. Yeah, that's gonna be my guess. Can we drill down to where we're using it? Fade in out effect line 55. Oh, why are you over here? Go on an actual monitor I can use. Okay. So it's talking about this, I think? Cannot convert from initializer list to effect data. Wait, what? Line 55 for game add effect? Oh, this is still not going. Okay, hold on. So it's still not happy, presumably about the same thing, yeah. So something makes this not move assignable, and I need to figure out what. Oh, yeah. I need to figure out what. The code was shy. So this is probably just a cascading thing. That we're not there yet. Okay, maybe I just missed something. Like, okay. What else? This is gonna be hard to track down because it's like, what else would make this? Did I just miss a const somewhere? Search for whole words only. Oh, well, there's some staring me in the face, right? Well, those are methods, though. Const methods should not matter. Current document. Const, okay. So far, so good. Oh, there's one. Okay. Was that really the only one? Okay, I did miss one, admittedly. Everything else looks okay. Let's try build again. Hopefully my objects are movable now. If not, the other way to test this would be to make an instance of each of these and then see what doesn't get set to something else. I feel like there should be a tool called the constness checker. It tells you what is preventing it from what is still const. We should make that tool. Is this still a thing? Oh, damn. It's still a thing. Let me make sure effect data itself is not... Wait a second. Operator equal... Yeah, like, why is effect data const? That's my question. Operator equals const. Function was implicitly deleted. Effect data. Standard optionals should be copyable. So that means effect T is not copyable, presumably. Pointer is copyable. Like, it has to be in here. That's... There's no other... There's nothing else it could be. It has to be inside that variant. Cannot convert... Wait, what? Oh, I clicked something else, I think. By accident. Okay. Deleted copy assign, deleted move assign, blah blah blah. Or... yeah, same line. So... Yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out. So I think what I'll do is let's just make a new source file and we will try a couple things in it. Let me see, is there like a... You know what, we can do it in here probably. That's fine. This is a good place to do it. So let's grab any effect. Let me see. I don't know if effect is already defined. Looks like it's not. See if we can get the compiler to complain about any specific one. Let's just do effect. Yeah, that's fine. So effect A. And let's just make one. Let's see. I'm definitely gonna... This is definitely gonna be a little time consuming, but I think it will reveal what we're interested in. Let's see. At the very least, we need position, lifetime, image file, and upper level. Position, lifetime, image file, upper level. Okay. At the very least, we need these. More than one instance of constructor matches. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. So we have... Still? Oh, wow. Yeah. These do match up quite a bit. Up to the color. Goodness. Okay. That's pretty poor design, but we'll take it for now. Okay, so anyway... C-san, const-san. That's cute. Effect B. Well, let's just say A equals B. A equals this, right? So is this move assignable? Is the question. To do this until we find it, right? Not exactly following, but wouldn't it be simpler to use a struct to contain all those function arguments? Yes. I've started doing that a little bit recently, but most of this code was created years ago, so you can see the result is not quite like this is actually pretty recent, this enum here, but yeah. Well, not enum, but we start using stuff like this in the future, not necessarily just enums. Old codebase blues, yes. Nice artifact or relic from the past. Okay, so let's try meteor now. Actually, this just kind of worked. Oh wait, let me see. Pause, lifetime, upper level, setting, which is supposed to be an enum. Meteor setting. Let's just do that. Damage. Okay, so that's should be a valid meteor. Oh, it's supposed to be a pair. Like so. Are these ints? Okay, these are ints. I feel like I did it right. Okay, it's just IntelliSense being a little slow. So then try another instance of this and copy it. So meteor is copyable. One day we'll put this behind glass, like a display case, like a relic from a bygone era. Yeah, this is how we used to code. Yeah, imagine someday what coding could look like, right? Hopefully for the better. Like, I'm just gonna do a quick scroll through. There's gotta be something obvious that I'm missing for move assign before I keep going. Like, this surely unordered set of variants of pointers should be copy and movable. We already proved effect is movable, and that's actually just hard-coded. Float VF2D. Phase is an enum. Standard function. I assume that's copyable. Like, we could definitely... Like, it's not even assigned to anything at first, so it is assignable. Be like Back to the Future 2 with the kids with the arcade game. You mean you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy. Oscillators are VF2... or oscillator classes. Are these move assignable? The oscillator class. Let's see. Oh, it's got const refs. Okay, so oscillators are not move assignable. Interesting. Okay, that is a problem. If I was coding this, I would probably never finish it because I would constantly be refactoring. That does happen quite a bit, and... yeah, I mean, we're on day, what, 400 something? I don't even keep track anymore. 467 according to the title. But, yeah, like, you have to spend a lot of time, like, making the codebase either better or fixing the codebase, so... that is true. I guess I'm doing the mutable const thing here now, just to make these copy assignable, but it's not intended to be... wait, but they're references, so they are still not move assignable. So these have to turn into, like, reference wrappers at the very least. Standard reference wrapper. And by doing that... we're gonna have to change these because these are just T's. I mean, I could put standard ref here. I don't know why that's actually a problem, because these are set reference wrapper to this value, which is a VF2D. I feel like that's supposed to be implicit. First is not a non-static data member. What? Mutable is not allowed detected during instantiation of class. I'm a little confused by what is happening here. Because I don't think the IntelliSense message makes message. Yesterday, IntelliSense was saying define is not defined, which I thought was hilarious. IntelliSense has been really dodgy lately. My project's just way too big. It takes forever for it to understand anything. Okay. So oscillators now move assignable. Herd types in enum. Oscillators, unique pointer, friendly types enum, environmental audio. Let's see. We have 2D, string, float, well that's static, bool, size T. Okay, that looks move assignable to me. Okay, I think we're good. I didn't think one of my core types would be non-move assignable, but that's how they get you, I guess. Alright, pray that we don't get the move assignable error message again. God. Here's hoping. And then it looks like I have to fix a bunch of initializer lists. I must have changed the constructor or something. Dang it, it's still not taking. But we know variants are copyable once you make everything move assignable. I think. I'm pretty sure we proved that before I started using it, because I'm like, I need that capability. So I made sure of that. I'm just gonna do a quick sanity check though. Okay, here's our variant. I'm just gonna, right now everything's copyable because these are all fine classes, so let me just do effect A. A equals, let's just say objects 1. Well, I guess this would have to be a higher level class. Like, this would have to be an effect A, right? Does that all work? Wait. Oh, wait. Variant. That's what I'm thinking of. Variant. Yeah, because the thing inside there is a variant. So yeah, it's... Is it? Does it not work? Argument... What? No operator equals matches these parameter... Oh, hold on. Yes, if it's the same variant, I should be able to say equal. But then if I make, again, add a const int number here, now it's not move assignable, right? Which makes this not allowed again, right? Yeah. So, something's still not move assignable. A router, the woodworking kind. Ooh. Woodworking. Fun. Alright, unordered sets of entities. Are unordered sets not reassignable? I feel like they should be. Standard unordered set. I don't see why they wouldn't be. Entity. New ints. Right? Surely it is. There's no reason why it couldn't be. Yeah, those are definitely move assignable. Alright, let me look again. Unique pointers... Unique pointers might not be. At least not default move assignable. I think the only way to move them is through our values, like standard move. Let me try this. I think that was the whole point, is like they're protected from being overwritten because they are owning. So like, if we have 2 of these, right? We can't just reassign one. I think that's why we can't do this. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that because it's been deleted. So... Unique pointer. Why are we using a unique pointer here? We do... So we intend to heap allocate. But we need it to be movable. So we could write a custom move assignment operator specifically for this type, because this type wants to standard move snow. Because it's not const, so we don't have an issue there, but we do have to manually move it ourselves. So this might be the only type we write the actual move constructor for. So move constructor is... oh god, I might have to look it up. It should be type reference, type operator equals const type reference. Type reference return type operator equals type reference, const type reference. Blizzard const Blizzard reference. So that's move constructor. No, wait, move assignment, right? We need move assignment. So Blizzard instead operator equals, which returns a Blizzard reference. Okay, move assignment. That's the one we need to fix. So by default, we're going to copy all of our other members like we normally do. And I forget which direction it goes to. I think this is the, like, operator equals, so this must be the right-hand side. And we're assigning... so this should be, well, this is this. Okay, that makes sense. So this is the new object that we have to assign to. New effect. So we say new effect dot damage, right? Equals this damage. Wait, but this is const. So this is the new type coming in, and we update the current, right, we just update the current instance with whatever is incoming to essentially move the new object into our old object. That's the concept behind the move constructor. So we're gonna add this in front of all these, except for unique pointer, of course. And then we're going to assign to new effect whatever the variable name is. And then we're left with the unique pointer, which is now going to be moved. So this snow equals standard move, which should release the old pointer as well. New effect dot snow. So standard move on that. And we should be happy. No. Reset? I think it's reset. Yes, reset. And then it wants the pointer itself, so we can do new effect snow get to get the raw pointer. I think that's correct. Because we definitely don't want to keep it here, right? So we're doing standard move because we want to still reference that pointer. We don't want to drop it. So we're doing stand move, yes. And then dot get to get the raw pointer to set up this unique pointer pointing to that raw pointer. Old unique pointer gets deleted. I think that's how that works. We should probably confirm that because we don't want memory leaks, right? Well, we won't get memory leak, but we might end up with the wrong data if we don't do this right. So I think this is correct for a move assignment operator. Let's try and build now. I don't think there are any more unique pointers in here. So we should be good. There's a vector, a float. There's an effect type, which is an enum. There are animations. Are animations movable? I guess we have to check that now. Class animation. It has a vector of frame sequences, which I think are just like numbers. And I think there's like numbers and an enum, I'm pretty sure. Style is an enum. Vector of frames. Frames are... a renderable pointer and a geometry rectangle, which is two VF2Ds, so those are copyable. Float, so that's good. And an unordered map of states enum and size T. States enum is an enum. It still says it's not copyable. Or move assignable. Did I do the right operator? I'm pretty sure I did. Operator equals const whatever, attempting to reference a deleted function. Just to confirm, let me look up move assign. So I'm not missing something here. Move assignment operator, return type operator equals parameter list. So operator, oh, it's supposed to be an R value? Let me try R value. I must have missed that. Wait. Oh, had to change it in here too. Or in Blizzard. Okay. Const. Get out. Okay. It doesn't say const. Implicitly declared move assignment. Implicitly declared. So yeah, v equals something else, v and. Okay. The move assignment operator is trivial if all of the following is true. Not user provided. No virtual member functions. No virtual base classes. Hold on. I didn't think about the virtualness of it. Like, does that not work? Hold on. No, because we're just talking about variant, right? Yeah, variant has enough size to store every type of object and can even assign between any type inside the variant, assuming everything inside of there is legitimate. So I think my understanding of that is correct. Oh, this is copy assignment. Okay. But we're talking about move assign, or we should do both. Honestly, we should do both. Move assign and copy assign. Copy assign has const. Does that make sense? I guess it does make sense. It forces you to move it, right? As in, you're not modifying this, so you're copying it over. Whereas move assign you get as an R value. You can just assign it directly with standard move. Okay, that makes more sense. So this is copy assign, but I think we want move assign. Don't use standard move on constant variables. That's not a constant, is it? Well, it's a unique pointer. Okay, maybe it is, but... let me do copy and move assign. Like, I'm trying to think, okay, is there another option that we have, maybe? So... oops. Like, I'm thinking, can we just change this out for... why is it a unique pointer? I guess that's my thing. It's because we have to create the emitter... the emitter might continue existing afterwards. I guess that's the concept, right? The emitter can continue existing. But the emitter has a lifetime, like, it's not... I don't know if the emitter is actually managed here. iEmitter update, is this static? Oh, okay. So emitters are local to something. Why is it a unique pointer, though? if we want it to last beyond the blizzard itself... No, I don't know if that's the case. I'm not sure why we're doing that. Because no matter what, this object's destroyed, it's done. So I'm not really understanding that. Unless in the update function, I just say, like, if not is dead, oh, I see. Well, if it is dead, isn't the whole point to keep running this thing? It's almost like I contradicted myself by doing that line. I write JS and React. Will I be able to get anything you're doing? Other than, like, general programming processes, not really. There's not really much related. Because this is all game dev. So, not much web dev here. Very rarely. Other than learning the concepts of C++ and the ideas behind programming and, like, logic. Because understanding and knowing how to program and, like, the thought process behind it, I think is a global skill, but every language is different, of course, so don't get as much out of that. Pretty sure we would have to move that, but I'm hoping that by writing the move assignment, I'm actually gonna get the ability to compile this now, because this is rather annoying. Okay, so let's try this one. I will go burn my repos now. What do you mean? No. Don't do that. Let's see. Alright, let's just try this. And try a build. I assumed that I wanted, like, it said move assignment, but it also said copy assignment. I guess I should have read it, right? Because I think it was talking about move and copy assign at the same time. So I'm really hoping this error message finally goes away. It's like so many things to look through. Okay, so different, is it a different message? No, it's the same, but we do have this now. Standard unique pointer operator equals attempting to reference a deleted function. Why is it equals? It shouldn't be. Let me see. It's under, oh, right. Because we were testing it in there, right? That's the file we were testing. So go back in here. Lightning bolt. Where is that? So lightning bolt line 63. Effect data. Cannot convert from initializer. Wait, no, that's the same problem, right? Of everybody else. That's not what I was interested in. I was interested in this one. Do nothing line 50. Where we made, yeah, we were just testing code. That can go away. But yes, still happening. Standard optional, function implicitly deleted. Operate equals. Reference. Operate equals const, so that's move assign. Copy assign. Oh, just regular assignment too? Let me see. Operate equals const. I have that one. Move assignment. Standard, turns reference. Operator equals const ref. That's move assign. Copy assign. Operator equals const. Like, I guess we could figure out, is this the problem? Let's just get rid of this real quick. Hey there, Kraton, welcome. We are dealing with potential rule of 5 shenanigans, so we'll see in a minute. I'm just going to comment this out for now. or get rid of it, and we're just gonna see real quick. Does this compile now? So all that code can come back. We'll just restore it. But let me see. Oh, and I left a comma. Okay. Try that again. Basically, since I have a variant of all these different types, and I'm trying to store them in the variant, and I have an array which is stack allocated, it means I can't like heap allocate them or reassign the values because they're not pointers. I could switch to pointers, that is one possibility, but then that kind of ruins the whole point of me doing all this. So I'm trying to make everything move assignable right now, which is proving to be difficult. There's another syntax error. Oh, I see. Forgot to get rid of that one too. Was reading through one of my books and learned something. Little factoid. Class member functions which are declared and defined in their class are inlined by default. Otherwise you have to specify inline in the function definition. Oh yeah, somebody told me about that too. Like, it's not required. Which I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then I'm like, you know, that would actually make so much more sense. Considering how it works. How you, like, include stuff in other files. Okay, so we're still getting it. So deleting that unique pointer wasn't the fix. Something else here is not copyable. Well, let's see if Blizzard is copyable at all. I guess is our next step, right? Like, we have to figure out what is going on. So let's see. Pause, radius, lifetime. You know what I could do? Just temporarily? I could also just make like a default constructor, right? I should be able to do that. And this just speeds up the process, I think. What do you mean it's a deleted function? I made it. Well, these probably have deleted constructors, don't they? Yeah, this one has a constructor, so that doesn't work actually. Dang, I tried. Let me just do this then. Just for the sake of, I need to test this right now, and I need to see what happens. So, effect. Let me just do that real quick. Effect needs to be constructed. I forgot underlying it needs that too. Just when you think you know a language, you learn something random like that to humble you. Oh yeah, that happens to me every single day, right? Like, we're constantly going through it. Alright, so there's Blizzard A, and then A equals another instance of Blizzard. Let's see. Intelligence. Okay. So we know Blizzard is move assignable. Alright, so what else is? Like, maybe we should test with the unique pointer now? Because I have a feeling that was the reason, right? Like, if I add in this... Well, this is copy assignment, I think. Once we added in the move assignment operator, I think it fixed itself. At least it should have. In theory... If I remade this one more time... Right now we're trying to figure out which of these in this variant are not move assignable, because I feel like they all are. But something's tripping us up right now. So this works. Okay. I don't think compiler's complaining about this one, so... It's not that class. Something is not working. So we just have to keep going until we found it, I guess. Which is gonna be annoying. There's quite a few to test, but we'll keep trying, right? Eventually we'll find it. Freeze ground. Because I looked through them all, and I'm like, we're good now. Apparently we're not good. So... it's gonna be a bit of a time-consuming process here as we do this. Maybe I'll just copy-paste this over and over and change it. That'll probably be easier. So that is move assignable. This refactor for rule 5 apply to your entire project. It should technically only apply to whatever... well, originally it was going to apply to this blizzard effect, but I'm like, well, I have constructor. I don't have default constructor, which is like, whatever. I have... move and copy assign. I'm like, do I need anything else? I don't really think so. Not if I'm doing... so the problem line is... where is that line? I added it yesterday. It's fill, which is supposed to reassign, right? So effect data gets reassigned, which it currently allows. I checked. I was like, okay, like technically if we have a new effect data, right? Can we reassign this? And I believe we made sure we could. Like, I didn't see anything wrong. Or no, we can't. That's the problem, right? It's deleted. So then I'm like, okay, well, what members inside effect data can't we assign? And I think it turned out to be... it turned out to be the optional effect T, which is drilling further in, right? It's effect T that we can't assign. So it's like, okay, well, if we can't assign that, what are we gonna do, right? Like, this would be a default, like, effect or something, which... or in this case, I would do, like, a freeze ground, which is, like, fine. So, yeah. Oh, this is fine. So why isn't the optional... oh, wait. Okay, IntelliSense was just catching up, right? So yeah, it's just saying it cannot be referenced as a deleted function, but a variant should be reassignable if all members are reassignable. So something here is not reassignable, and... you know what we could do? We could just delete from the variant until it works, right? That's another way to test. At least we can start from, like, here, right? Just, like, binary cut it and see what happens. See if IntelliSense likes that. I should have done that in the first place. So I think IntelliSense is happy with these types being assignable. Let me just mess with it one more time. Yeah, it seems okay, so... let's try... this. Delete until it works. Yeah, because, like, how else are you going to search through this list, right? You basically have to binary search for it. Like, it was too time-consuming for me to make every single one of these constructors, right? Okay, so it's one of these... let's see, we went to lingering... it's one of these three here. Ink, flip coin effect, or collect coin effect. So, ink... has 3 floats. Okay. Flip coin effect has 3 oscillators. And collect coin has 2 oscillators and an entity. Oh, I forgot about the entity. The entity. Aha, here we go. Is a buff copyable? Oh, and we have, well, no, that's a function. God, I have members. Where are are these? Okay, these are all functions. These are members. We have a variant of pointer and pointer, which, oh, is const. Okay, well, that would do it for sure. So that must be the last one, right? Let's go back. Are we good now? Well, other than the fact that freeze ground is not in the variant, let's go ahead and go back here and undo our changes. Are we happy now? We are not happy yet. So the question is it, what did we say it was? We were inside, I think, yeah, collect coin effect. So let's just confirm it is collect coin effect first by making it the only type in the variant. And we will use that as the constructor here. You can just make a temporary, and then we'll try to fix it. Collect coin effect. Yes. Okay. So, can we construct this and assign? So, IntelliSense seems happy about that. So it's not collect coin. At least not anymore. Maybe it was before? Well, let's just see, right? Let me go back to entity real quick. What's going on here? Is this a template? No, it's not. Okay, I don't know what it's thinking right now. It's just being silly. But before we had const here, right? And that should have made this unable to be moved. Yes, so we can see that IntelliSense doesn't like that. So that was the fix for that. We just proved that. So yes, that is now mutable, which makes this move assignable. But there must be something else if this is still not happy. So, any of these two having problems then? Ink or flip coin effect? Let me just take a look one more time. Maybe there'll be something obvious. Oscillator of we did make sure an oscillator is now movable, right? Reference wrappers, we have type T's here. Reference wrappers are move assignable. I'm like 99% sure. That's like kind of the whole point of them. Reference wrapper int equals, let's just make int number new int 7 and assign numref and then reassign to, let's say, another one. Okay, yes, reference wrappers are move assignable, so that's fine. Okay, so oscillators look okay, but that's really all we have going for this. Ink is just 3 floats, which, like, come on. Alright, well, let's make defaults of these and see what's happening. So, let me undo this line. Remove that, and add in... what was it? Ink and flip coin effect. So let's start with ink. Okay. I'll just set this to like true, set this to 0, and set that to 0 for the sake of testing, and then assign these to a default constructor of ink. Maybe? Okay. So that is move assignable, which only leaves flip coin effect, right? With the oscillators. So maybe there's something else going on with the oscillators that I'm not understanding. But that's the only one left. Flip coin effect. Change that. And random stuff. Okay. So those are move assignable too. Did I get them all then? I should have, right? That should be everything. It's still not letting me assign to effect B. Why? Did some of these fix when I added the default constructor? Is that why? Do we need a default constructor? I feel like we don't. Well... if we... wait, so if we make our own custom constructor, does... no, that should be true, right? Move assignment should stay. The implicitly declared or defaulted move assignment operator is defined as deleted if any of the following conditions is satisfied. T has a non-static data member of a const qualified non-class type. T has a non-static data member of a reference. Wait, a non-static data member of a const qualified non-class. T has a potentially constructed subobject of class type M, such that the overload resolution as applied to find M's move assignment operator does not result in a useful candidate, or in the case of the subobject being a variant, selects a non-trivial function. So, wait a second. Why did I not use effect again, right? That was kind of the whole point of this thing, was we would use effect. Let me go back. Yeah, let me just take one step back here. I had some test effects here earlier, so let me just put those back. And instead of doing this, I'm going to affect T it instead. And then affect equals B. Wait, so this is allowed. So what was I testing earlier? Like a new affect T? Well, that should be allowed too, right? Like that's the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but the same idea. And then what wraps around this? An optional? Is optional not assignable? Should be, right? If the base type is assignable, the optional should be assignable. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why would the optional not be reassignable? Do I have to move optionals? Did I just never know this? Wait, I'm so... IntelliSense, please. Okay, so this doesn't work. Which, we did this thing earlier, right? To kind of figure out if it would work or wouldn't work. And so, it's a matter of, like, can I get IntelliSense to properly, like, complain about it or not? So, IntelliSense is not complaining about this. So we know that works. Like, this is what I should have been checking. That way I didn't, like, mess things up. So it's saying it's okay. So it's actually one of these four. So it likes that. So one of these two then. Blizzard or freeze ground. The one we add these in, it complains, right? Yes. Okay, so take out freeze ground. Okay, so it's not satisfied. So Blizzard is the problem then, because if I don't include that type, we're good. Okay, so we've eliminated it down to the Blizzard class. I guess that's good. I'm glad it's only that one. So time to figure it out. I think I was getting too in my head about this and messing it up. Okay, so it's a deleted function. Operator equals const ref, which I provided, right? Like, in theory, I provided it. I provided a copy assign and a move assign. What am I missing? I have move assign, but I don't have move, right? I don't have, like, a move constructor, which I think I need. I think I need a move constructor and a copy constructor as well at this point. So move constructor is our value. And let's just add the copy constructor too, right? Rule of 5. Okay. Well, I don't need the destructor, I guess. Yeah, this is automatically managed. I don't think I need a move destructor. Or, excuse me, a destructor. God. So we need Blizzard. One as a R value and one as... I assume copy constructor looks correct. Copy constructor. Okay, so we have those. Can I just call the same things? Like, in theory, right? They're the same as operator equals. They should be. Okay, so No default constructor. It's not supposed to be a default constructor, right? Did I mess this up? Copy constructor. Wait, what? No default constructor exists for class effect. Oh, it's gonna call... I see. We have to call the move constructor of effect when we do this, right? It would be like... Or we just have to do what we did here. Yeah. Like this. Okay. Because it's complaining that effect is not going to be initialized with this constructor. So it's going to look something like that. Well, we'll figure that part out in a second. Anyway, yeah, so I have the operators implemented, but not the constructors, which I don't know if I feel like I shouldn't need both for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because in theory, the operation it's looking for is array.fill should be assigning, right? Like to all of them, which should be a move assign. So in theory, I've satisfied the requirement. But I'm gonna implement these anyways and see what happens. Maybe move assign implies that it's going to do a move construct. I don't know, right? Like, I'm a little baffled right now, but we're gonna do this. If I have operator equals, I should actually just be able to do this equals new f, right? In theory. Or not this, but this equals new f. Because this will get called when I do that. I think. Yes. And that pretty much applies here. The only thing is I have to do this part, which they're not technically assigned, so I have to grab the values from the new effect being assigned to it. Which is fine. I can do that. So it looks something like this. I almost wonder if I can just extract the base class from another effect. Like, if I could do, right, like a dynamic cast. I think this would be really silly, right? But in theory, like... this is essentially what I would want. It would be a... I guess I would const cast it, whatever, but... be like... like, that's what I was thinking, originally. Cannot change the underline... well, yes. I don't know if that is, like... in theory, this is what I want. I want the underlying effect from new effect to be applied here. Like, that's what I would want. I feel like that's correct. Like, that's allowed. I don't know what the implications of that would be otherwise, but my understanding of dynamic cast is that that should technically be okay. And then this operator equals should be calling this... it also calls this function... it's not an R value, but it's an R value here, so I don't know why this doesn't match up, but... technically undefined behavior? You think so? Because, like, it is of type effect, right? Like, you should be able to dynamic cast between parent type and all child types, in theory. I guess I could also just cast it, right? Like, static cast? I think that's allowed. Because we're going down. I think you can go down. You can go up or down, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we still need the const cast. We probably do. Invalid type conversion. So it's actually complaining. So static cast doesn't like it. Which is kind of giving me a hint that maybe dynamic cast is not allowed either. Like, this doesn't just allow anything, right? Like, I can't just put whatever. I'm pretty sure. Like... Oh, I can. I think dynamic cast returns something. Like, obviously this won't compile, but like... I know dynamic cast returns if it worked or not. Yeah, I don't know. I think for references it just returns junk data though. Because it's not a pointer. It would be null pointer if it was a pointer. So like, this feels very dangerous to me either way, right? Like, either way that's very dangerous. Anyways, what I want to check though... Like, this will work fine for now. But what I wanted to check was if this actually compiles now. In theory. Oh, you're entirely wrong. Okay. So, just to confirm, if I did... Well, I deleted it now, but like... If I dynamic casted Blizzard, which is... It's subclass to effect. Yes, it's subclass to effect. So dynamic cast should cast it down, right? No matter what. That's my understanding. Should give a valid effect type. And I just have to const cast it because it's const. And then I can send that under the effect constructor because it'll copy it. Copy the data. So like the underlying effect type of Blizzard will now be copied over, which is what I would want, in theory. But I also think I could argue that doing this will also copy it. So why do I need this then? Like, this doesn't matter. This just needs to be some values, right? In order to satisfy the fact that it doesn't have a default constructor. So either way, like, this code should work, in theory. Oh, you know what? I actually don't handle the other... I forgot about the subclass members. You know what? They do have to be copied over, don't they? Either that or I have to do this in there. Yeah, so actually that's a good point. I have to say, okay, well, what is the version of this effect as a subclass at the child class? Subclass effect needs to be reassigned to a casted version of what we currently have. So I need to essentially, like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I would be calling the constructor, or, because this is pointing to this instance of Blizzard, but it's just an effect type right now. It's been downgraded. So then I can say subclass effect equals no, I have to downcast ourselves like this. This is interesting. I almost want to like do this in an example and see if this works, right? That's interesting to me, at least. Also, this wouldn't be const. It's just very interesting. Let's test that. So let's say we have two classes, right? So we have effect And let's say effect A. Effect has a member called pause, which is just a 2D vector, has two floats in it, and then effect A has the number 7 in it. So two classes derived from each other. I'm just gonna make the pause of this 0, 0 by default, but we can change that in a second. So then we have an effect A, an effect class called A. Actually, let me call it like EFF so I don't get confused. And we'll just assign it the value of like 4, 4. And then let's make an effect A class, which is derived from effect. Now I'll call this effect A. And we're gonna make this have a constructor with a number, so 9. I think first you specify the vector though, and then the 9. If I'm not mistaken. Too many initializer values. Wait. Is that not how that works? Or maybe it just doesn't have a default constructor now. I forget how this works. Like... isn't this supposed to be the VF2D? I guess I just didn't figure out it was a... Does that work? Hold on, let me see. I need to make sure that it actually assigns it correctly. I forget if the order is child class members and then base class members, or the other way around. So FA has a pause of 2, 2 and a number 7 assigned. So I assume I can assign... By default, we can do something like effect A equals... And we'll make another effect A. Just the second one. Effect A2, with just different values in it. 7, 7 for the VF2D, and maybe like a 6, right? So just to identify it. And then we're going to say EFFA is EFFA2. Naturally, everything in there is copyable. So we would expect that EFFA now points to all the or has the same values as all the data members of 2, which it does. But now let's manually write the move and copy assignment operator. Or at least the copy assignment, because I think this is going to call the copy assignment operator. So now we're going to add in our own copy assignment operator and try to implement this ourselves, but call the dynamic cast and see what happens. So it's going to look like this. This is all inline. So if I say the subclass is effect, and I point it to this, so it's casting it to an effect, and then I say subclass effect now equals effect of the new effect, does that technically reassign it? A const cast can only adjust type qualifiers, it cannot change the underlying type. Underlying type is... Wait, what? I'm not changing the underlying type. Hello? IntelliSense, are you okay? Oh wait, I can't reassign it though, can I? It would be like... I'm a little confused. Hold on. This doesn't work. It would have to be a pointer, maybe? That sounds dangerous. Hold on. I don't want to do that. Now that I'm looking at it, you can't really reassign a reference. No, it's okay. This is important to learn. Either to find out it doesn't work or to find out it does work. Yeah, this is starting to not make sense because you can't reassign a reference. Pointers are awesome, but in this case, I think I would be breaking something really forbidden by doing this. Like, that is this is currently storing an effect A, so effectively I would be declassing it by accident, which that seems dangerous. I don't think we would want to do that. So that definitely doesn't work. Okay, so that's like the hole in the plan that we figured out. So this doesn't work, but that also means I have to assign the members that are defined in here manually because this is all custom now, right? So I have to get all these, and all these, and provide all these members. Let's see here. It's gonna be a bit of a mess to try and clean up. Think we're good. So it would look like this, kinda. Let me see. Get rid of that. Convert all of those. Those are all values. These have multiple values. Should be okay now? No. Those don't work quite the way I expected them to. Let's do this one. Right, but then my idea was to try to take a shortcut to assigning all the child members when using a copy constructor. Wait, could I technically call... I should just call the copy constructor, right? Of effect? I think that's what I need to be doing. So, like, I can call this, right? Effect operator equals... Well, operator equals is just equals, so it would be... I think that was my original intention behind trying to do the effect reference thing. Was I was gonna say, okay, this equals that, but yeah. And then... I guess I would cast that down. It might... I don't think it knows to do that, though. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it automatically... I don't know if it can't. It might be able to. I don't know what's gonna happen. I guess we'll have to test that too. So in theory... Right? Back in here... So what I want to try is calling effect... operator equals with the new effect being here. That should technically assign the submember pause to the new pause, because that would be what the default operator assign would do. So the expected result is that number stays 7, but pause now updates after calling this. Oh, I also need to return a value. Return... Do I return this? I think that's all I do. Push the button, DD, see what it does. Okay, effect A is now has the number 4 and pause 7-7. So yes, the number didn't change because we assigned it to 4, and the VF2D updated. So this successfully ran the move assignment operator of this and updated its child member. Okay, good. So that is a shortcut we can take. Excellent. So we don't have to rewrite all of that nonsense. So same should apply in here. Also, I guess we do have to return, which I haven't implemented yet. Maybe that's why it's complaining. I don't think I finished this function right, and maybe the compiler just hasn't complained about it? Okay. Move semantics. I guess so. Alright. So in theory... Oh, I guess we could look at our test case, right? Does this copy? Oh my god, we might be getting somewhere. This does copy now. Or reassign. It compiles. Okay, progress, finally! After all that. So, I guess compiler didn't want to tell me that that these weren't implemented correctly because of return. If it weren't for RAII, namespaces, classes, and function overloads, I'd stick with C. There is a lot C++ has. And you definitely don't have to use all of it, right? There's nothing forcing you to use anything fancy with C++. I personally like to go down the deep end and use weird, crazy stuff because that's just fun. That's what makes the language fun to me. But in a more productive sense, there's nothing stopping you from using the basics and just having some conveniences that come with the language. I'll use it because it's there. I don't need it. You sound very much like a Casey right now. I wonder why. No, I'm just kidding. Just poking some fun. Okay, let's see. I'll take that as one hell of a compliment. There you go. Alright, so we're on to cannot convert initializer lists. So this is good progress. Now we're dealing with something else. Why doesn't this convert is the next question. So add effect is supposed to be, we're supposed to provide, wait, actually, hold on. Let me reread that. 'Cause I don't think it's related to, it says cannot convert from initializer list to effect data. Why are we trying to convert to effect data? Is the question. Line 34, while trying to match the argument list fall effect. So, effect, oh, we have to store effect data, right? This is new effect ID, this is the effect itself. Effect is of type fall effect. And it's not letting me? I guess is the question. Could be effect data. Cannot convert argument 2 from T to effect R value. You cannot bind an L value to an R value reference. Oh, maybe that's the issue. I was a C with classes kind of programmer for a while, but I slowly realized I started forgetting features of the language. That's fair. Okay, so this should be converted to an L value, is what I'm getting right now. Is this... I mean, this can be assigned, right? Like, that is... You cannot bind an L value to an R value reference. Where's the R value reference? Right here? Effect data. That's the constructor. Effect data. Is this the issue? Does this want to be like a standard move? I don't think so. I don't think that matters. That's just gonna get copied or assigned. So I don't think that's the issue. I wonder... Alright, this is for... Well, we know that's fine. That doesn't change. I'm not knocking C++ wholesale. It's super powerful. It's just there's a lot that's in STL, and baked-in language features I just have no use for. Yeah, I mean... The way I think about it, it's funny, is until I knew about the existence of new things, I was happily chugging along without them, right? So, you think of it that way, it's almost like they don't offer new solutions, they just provide different ways of doing things. So when I think of it that way, I'm like, I'm just more doing it because I can, because it's fun. It's funny. It's not necessarily better. It's not necessarily worse. It could be better, it could be worse, but I'm just doing it because it's different. Maybe just for more exposure. Because you never know, like, when a code base uses something and you don't know what it is, then that's when you have to really apply and learn it, right? So in the terms of learning the language, if I'm going to be using C++ going forward and potentially as a career option, then knowing everything that's out there is not a bad idea. At least trying to see how it works. But there was nothing stopping me from using things that C++ 14 and maybe some 17 has provided without the need to look at 20 and 23. I wouldn't say I've benefited from it, I've just found features in it and tried to use them. Oh, I believe it. Trying to understand everything about C++ is, I feel like, an impossible task. Really. Consequently, the task of learning a language should focus on mastering the native and natural styles for that language, not on understanding every little detail of every language feature. I think that's fair, yeah. I kind of want to get the ideas and shape of the language versus like, oh, what's the what is every single, can you name everything in algorithms, right? That kind of thing. Versus this is generally what C++ looks like. If I can read it enough, if I know the concepts behind the language and like all the move semantics and shenanigans and how it manages memory, then you're pretty well off just having that base knowledge of the language. And then it becomes about the syntax and what you can do with the language after. Hopefully that makes some sense. Alright, I need to... Clearly this line is the issue, but I'm not entirely sure why yet, but I think it's going to become pretty apparent. I mean, it's telling me we cannot bind an L value to an R value, which is like, okay, fine. I feel like this should be possible, so I am complaining. It's like, why is this not possible right now? Is my next question. Because it says I can't, but why can't I? I need to figure out why. Like, right now, essentially, if I were to boil it down, I have a standard array of stuff. In this case, a variant of different types. And I'm saying, okay, stuff everything in there, right? So I have something like this. Let's say there's up to 5 items. And I'm trying to assign, right? Something to it. No operator equals matches. Why not? Oh wait, maybe I have to wrap it. Hold on, let me wrap it. I don't actually think this matters, but yes. Yeah, like this is impossible? Question mark? Argument 1 does not match parameter function. Operator equals... Wait, is this because of this? Maybe I'm just being silly. Yeah, this doesn't work. Oh wait, this is the array, not an array element. I feel dumb. Okay. Wait, is that what I did in here? No, I did provide an index, so I didn't do that. I didn't do the dummy move. And it's not like IntelliSense is catching this. So effect is an R value. Should I just take it by reference? If I take it by R value, I could do a standard move here. I don't think that matters. Because effect data is also accepting an R value. Oh, Tiger got the resubscribe. Hi there, Tiger. Thanks for the resubscribe. And it's a tier 2. Was it a tier 2 before? I think it was, right? I don't remember. Anyways, thank you. Wait, you resubscribed for 3 months at tier 2. Oh, wow, okay. That's crazy, thank you. So you upped the tier and the amount of time. That's wild. But thank you. Alright. Well, first thing I want to try doing is changing these from R values to just being references. And then maybe we'll go from there. We'll see what happens after, because this does return an R value, which doesn't... that doesn't... Wait, hold on, why am I adjusting this? Effect data. Effect data is just effect manager effect data, which is accepting this as an R value. So I'm going to change that. All right. I'm avoiding working on my own C++ because I'm a bit stuck. Oh man, what are you stuck? Stuck on? Maybe we can talk about it. Cannot convert from effect to T reference. Okay, that's interesting. A non-const reference may only be bound to an L value. So this is saying that it won't take an R value. Could be pair add effect T. Oh wait, let me make it a const ref. That would be better. Const ref. Nope. Because const ref will allow me to accept the R value, and it's just like a temporary reference, I guess. Where is the other one? In here? Add effect? Yes. Okay, let me try const ref instead. What I missed? Born picking fights with the C++ committee right there. Yeah, or... I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. To be fair, they deserve it. I don't want to diminish their efforts, however... B-yarn? Like B-yarn? Yarn B? It's not so much the programming. I don't really understand how to solve the puzzle. I've sought out help from robots, but I don't want to copy... Oh, okay, so it's an algorithm building issue. The problem-solving part. Bjarn. Okay, so it's almost like how it looks. Gotcha. So one thing I'm finding, at least with the standard visit thing, was it reminds me a lot of the ideas behind Rust, in that, like, the types that can be used for various functions that are either created or that are matched are predetermined, like they're templated, right? So they're generated. So you're not creating data that doesn't exist, if that makes sense. Like, everything has to exist up front. It's feeling very Rust-like, at least when I was trying to use it earlier. I'm like, this is interesting, but obviously I'm like, there's a lot of friction that comes with that too, in trying to utilize it, right? It felt very much like leaning into the ideas or the style of Rust. And a disclaimer, I don't develop in Rust, so these are purely from an observational standpoint. I would have to actually develop in Rust to make that more of an affirmation. Okay, so let's see what's going on now. This line is saying cannot convert from optional effect T to reference wrapper effect data. Let me see how I'm doing this. So foreground effect list is effect data, right? Over here, we are emplacing back inside of here, which are reference wrappers to effect data, the effect itself. Okay, so I just put the wrong type. We want reference wrappers to effect T's. We don't care about the data. At least I don't think we care about the data. Okay, and then in here, these are effect T's, which makes it so now I don't have to do this because they are already existing right there. And so that should work in theory. Because these are expecting... Are these not expecting effect T's? Oh wait, but these aren't optionals anymore, are they? They're just reference wrappers, so it should look like this. Originally I needed those because they were optionals. And then these are all effect T's as well. Yeah, you're definitely not wrong about that. C has been around forever, so it gets a little bit more... It gets a little bit less blame, I guess, because it's not like, oh, this is modern, so... Modern stuff, fix it. Ancient stuff, it's like, we can let that go. It was from ages ago, right? Okay, line 14. Whoa, why are we in X utility? Hold on. References must be initialized. Okay. Oh, I see. We changed all this. That's right. So the iterators are now just effects, so... Or reference wrappers, so... This is a reference wrapper, so grab value, .get. I don't need anything else. That should be correct. And we have to do the same for the others, I think. Please work. Please work, please work. Actually, this is gonna be an effect T. So what do I do then? Well, this is gonna unravel it. That should be correct. Yeah, I'm gonna go on. I think IntelliSense is just taking... Yeah, it finally went away. After I scrolled away, of course. Don't need that. That is not required either. And then we have this one. And a little further, we have this guy again. And then two more down here. Get rid of this. But yeah, figuring out an algorithm problem is a little, yeah. Weekly nail check. So my nails did change today. So they are now matching my wig. They are like, what do you call it? They are Neapolitan colored. So they did change this week. Yay! They match my wig. It's cute. Thank you. Let's see here. So this needs to be changed. Oh, I probably have to change in the other ones too. It's probably good. I missed that part. Love the matching. I'm too much of a guy. I can't type with long nails. You can get used to them. Plus, I do have a keyboard that has very light switches, so that makes it easier. Less stress on the nail. Okay, what's next? The way showing your nails brought more chat engagement than anything? Yeah! I mean, they're just fun. Something fun to bring up, right? Let's see. Oh, what is going on now? Did I just miss another one? I did. The lambda is wrong. Okay, so replaced those as well. Just an oopsie. Okay, IntelliSense seems a lot happier now with those. So what's next? We just have to keep going. Give me more errors, compiler. I'm ready. Lifetime is now a member because it's now a pointer. Or wait, hold on. Oh, this changed too. So it's not an optional. And it's got its own lifetime, so we can just do that now. Okay. That Pragma region looks crazy. Oh, yeah. It's just a block of making a bunch of lists. This is like everything we need to render stuff. Oh wait, these are reference wrappers though. Wait, are they? No, that's not true. These are variants. So we can extract, not error, the effect from here. From effectees to get a lifetime out of them. We made that handy macro very recently to do that for us. So it should be okay now. Have to do on the other side too. Oh, this just doesn't exist. Okay. Wait a second, hold on. No, I think I have this backwards. I have this a little twisted. So these are affect data types coming in because the original lists hold effect data. The new lists are supposed to hold just raw effects. So this is correct. This should also be correct. Hold on. Standard ranges for each no matching call operator found. What? Did I just mess up the... There's no invocable. According to this. Did I just typo something? Appeasing the IntelliSense gods. Maybe this is old. Let me just rebuild. Who knows? That looks nonsensical to me. Alright, so... It's still saying construct at... Well, construct at no constructor found. Standard reference wrapper effect T. Can convert all argument types. Okay, let's see where it's coming from. Still here. And place back optional effect T. Prevented it from being compiled. Optional? Oh, this is an optional. I forgot. That's right. Okay, so. I fear a reflection coming in C++ 26 because template-related compiler errors make little sense. So I imagine reflection's going to be worse. Yeah, I like to show people template errors because it just literally is like, what the heck am I reading? If you involve yourself deeper into the STL, then you start encountering these a lot. Your hair reminds me of ice cream flavors. Yeah, it's a Neapolitan. Thank you. And I got Neapolitan nails very recently, so we're matching now. Got them earlier today. I'd rather drag a cheese grater against my skin than have to deal with template errors. Ooh, it's a wild ride, that's for sure. I don't know what's going on. So standard reference wrapper effect T. Okay. Oh right, because we said it was an optional, right? Recompile. I think that's good because that gives us the effect T from the optional. It's still saying no matching overload function found. These are correct types, right? These are standard. Oh, they're not reference wrappers. I forgot, and place back doesn't like auto deduce or whatever, so I have to put standard ref, I think. Or I think I could also initialize them as like standard reference wrapper or whatever. But I think I'm required to put standard ref there. Okay, it still doesn't like it. Why? What is wrong? Effect standard reference effect T, no overload function found using standard reference wrapper const effect T. Oh, it's const. Do we need it to be const? I don't think we need it to be const. We don't want it const. Why would we want it to be const? Right? Okay. Maybe we're okay now. Time for the const mutable that I made earlier. That's funny. Okay, it looks like it's gone, so now we're on to image file is an undeclared identifier, which is like what? Is that from my... Yeah, it's from the default constructor I made earlier, which I need to delete because we're not using that. That was just for testing purposes. Same with this one. I just left some in there by accident. Okay. So far, so good. Oh, I left ink in there. Get rid of that one. God. This has been a wild roller coaster ride. I really hope we can solve all these today. I feel like we're getting close. Like, and then I still have to write the unit test, so that'll be fun. Get rid of that. Because it would be very daring to assume this actually functions the way it's intended to right now. Yes, let's see what else. They're definitely shrinking, that's for sure. So, effect data, overload member function not found. Effect.cpp line 148. Overloaded member function not found for int and effect rval. Oh, yeah. We changed this to a const ref. So that should fix that. Okay, we can stop compiling now, I think. Please. Thank you. Try that again. Uh-oh. Missing a type? What type are we missing? Entity.h. Where's that? Oh, right here? Line 74? Am I online? Yeah. Missing type. These are both forward declared. So is it variant? Oh, it might be variant. No, variant is included. This must just be like something random. Here we go. Lifetime cannot be initialized. What? Oh yeah, this isn't a thing anymore. It's a no, it is. It needs to be initialized to the effects pointer, the lifetime pointer of an effect. No, is that not right? Member cannot be initialized. A value of type const float star cannot be used to initialize an entity of type float. Why is it oh, it is const. But it's a pointer, like I'm going to const cast that any day, right? This is an... Or do I? Hold on, do I const cast this? That... what it's pointing to. Let's see. No, it needs to point to the lifetime variable of the new effect we create. So like we assign effect here, and okay, this is where member initialization order matters. So effect data. If effect is assigned first, then we can point the new effect assigned. So we need to do this effect dot lifetime. Or that'll be a pointer now, so it's like this effect lifetime, right? But that's an optional effect T, so we have to get the value from it, and then we have to convert it to an effect from its variant, and then we get the lifetime from that. And that's it. And then the optional is storing, wait. So effect is an optional. Pull that out, and then we have to get the address of that. Okay. Woo. All right. We're making progress. So, C++ guarantees that members are initialized in the order their class initializes them in. So, since effect is set here, that means we can grab the pointer directly from the effect that it's being stored in. And now we're getting this missing type specifier error, which is like, what? Am I not allowed to store... Because these are monster and player pointer sizes, so am I not allowed to put mutable here? I should be allowed to. I don't think that's a thing. I don't know what's complaining about, because up here we have these forward declared, and that's all we should need for a pointer. In theory. Are these like... Let's just move to another thing, because it... Oh wait, syntax error. Missing a semicolon before variant? Yeah, something's not right here. We definitely gotta come back to that one. Maybe there's like a circular header include or something, because that's just nonsensical. I completely disagree with that one. Okay, this is wanting the effect extracted from add effect, which is an effect ref. So now that we have an effect ref, now we can show how we actually are supposed to use this thing. So explode effect contains the effect inside of here, which returns... I'm trying to think what it returns now. Well, it should just return an effect. But it's like, how do we know it's an effect, right? I mean, we just made it. But like, I guess the .get... And this is what I was talking about earlier. How does it know that it's an effect type? I guess we would have to know ourselves. So I think that was the compromise I was willing to play with, was like, we have to specify the type, which is fine. And then we can do dot. And then we have access to it. So I like that. That's not terrible syntax. I wish it could auto-deduce, but I think to do that, this would have to be typed. Like, it would have to be like a templated class. And I don't know if I like that syntax any better. It's hard to say. Like, I would have to make the whole class a template, which is not terrible. Let me think about that. Which would I prefer? Having the class know the type, or having or specifying the type in get? I would like to just do that. less error prone? Because I would like to just auto this, right? That would be nice. Let's try that. Let's change this to a templated class. I think that would be better. Now that we're actually starting to use this thing, in the practical sense, I want to be able to just use that syntax. So I need to bring over the expired function and the constructor. I don't... Do we need the default? I think I added the default constructor for a reason. I forget why. But yes, we're going to generate this class now instead. Oh wait, that's effect data. Don't move those. So, constructor, expired, operator equals equals, and template. That's probably not how that works. Let me see here. Qualified name is not allowed in template member declaration? Am I doing so? Oh, wait. Let me inline these. Does that not work? I thought that's all I would have to do for a templated class. A qualified name. Oh, it must be IntelliSense lagging behind. Like, I don't think that's actually the error. So then, in theory, if we go back to, what was it? Explosive trap? Now, this auto-deduces, right? Because this knows it's an effect? I would hope. I would hope so. Like, I guess we would have to look at add effect to make sure it can... Okay, so yes, this now changes. This is now gonna return a type T of effect ref, which is actually what we want. I think. That looks correct. Let me try building that. Yes, we are realizing how ridiculous it is to try to rely on IntelliSense at this scale of project. What are you and why are you making games? A prime example of why games suck now. I mean, I just make them for fun. That's what I do. That's why anybody makes anything, right? Expected a real type? What do you mean a real type? Effect ref unspecialized class template can't be used as a template argument. Let me see. Unspecialized class template. I think it's talking about these. Like, these wrappers are no longer... Yeah, they're no longer effect refs. Now they have to be of a certain type. The type could actually vary between these two. Like, we need, like, 2 types. Like T and U. Which could then produce any... Well, it would produce a effect ref T and U. So... T and U. I don't really know why I have those named. That's not really necessary. I'm just gonna remove them. I don't think that harms anything. Might have to change one more thing. But I think we're okay if we do that. We'll see. This missing type specifier thing is still here. Foreground effect list cannot access private member declared in effect manager. Why are we trying to do that? Oh, this must be old code before I privated it. So that's explosive trap again. Let me see. While compiling class template effect.h, which... Okay, there we go. So I assume these... Oh, these aren't friend classes because it's gonna vary, isn't it? So we would use get foreground effects and get background... Oh, I see. I just didn't change it. That's my bad. This is really deep stuff. Rather beyond my level, but still interesting. Yeah, once I start getting deeper into this, like, visit stuff and the templating and trying to convert everything from the variants back to its original type, I'm like, this is kind of insane. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff to set up to make this work. Would I want to do it again? I'm not entirely sure. Or I would like to make some kind of class that can wrap all of this, so you don't have to think about any of this, if that makes sense. And I'm sure something like that probably exists. But at some point, I would like to explore that idea as well, of having a container that can contain multiple different types, that can be stack allocated, that you can grab whatever type it's supposed to be, like it identifies itself, and that you can use pretty much anywhere with very little, like, friction, without having to think about it, right? But it's very challenging to try to set this up. There was a lot to think about, and there still is a lot to think about. Not convert. I guess it thinks it's a normal list instead of a pair, which makes sense. So yeah, this has been an insane ride, and maybe we're coming to the conclusion of it, at least, as these errors dwindle down, and then we have to see if it all works. But there was some CppCon talk about the using that standard visit and the visitor patterns, and I was like, I could try that. I'm interested in seeing how it will work out, but it's turned into a much deeper rabbit hole than I originally intended, of course. Because it's one thing to just, like, try it out, right? But then it's another thing to integrate it in an already tightly coupled system that you have in your game. Like an already established system, how do I build around it? How do I shape it to fit my game's needs? That's all very challenging. Cannot convert from initializer list. Why does it think it's an initializer list? Or, well, okay, I guess it's more like saying it can't convert it. Standard pair effect ref does not take 2 arguments. Expanding ring and bool? What do you mean bool? Oh, interesting. It thinks some of these are using the other function. Like, the template can't figure that out. Oh no. Do we have to add more template shenanigans? Because it thinks this? Wait. Okay, I see the problem. Add effect has an overload where you specify the background, but it's thinking this is calling the second one. Let me see. So how do we fix this? It thinks it's resolving this U, the boolean, to call this function instead of calling this function. Can I use... We want to say, like, the types are restricted to the types inside the variant. Oh, this is gonna be tricky. How... I guess this is knowledge I don't have, like, getting into the specifics of, like, actually writing a template to do what you want it to do. Let's see. Let's try and look up restricting template to types in a variant. Let's start there and see what happens. So let's see, standard is same. Okay, well, so what I would like to do is we have a type called standard variant with blah. Oh, maybe we can just do standard is same on the variant type. I have to figure out what this would be then, or maybe, let me see. Let's look at a few more ideas. Limit template class 22 types. Combinatorial instantiation of templates with standard variant. That almost sounds like something that sounds like what I'm doing. But it is a rabbit holes all the way down. She's a hot gamer girl dev. Not much gaming, but I guess so, right? I know the moments pass, but games suck because of corporate greed, not because of individuals' personal lives / choices. True. I do agree with that. We could declare it manually. Like, T and U are restricted to types. Like, the problem is the variant isn't the type, it's all the types inside the variant. That's what I need to get at. Like, is there a way for us to extract not here, where is it? Is there a way for us to extract the types we specified inside here? That's what I need to figure out. I would like it to not be manual, because then I would have to edit more than one place. So that would be nice. We could also undefine it for the Boolean, I guess might be the way to go about it. Or we can change the constructor. Let's see if I can make a constructor that makes more sense, or a function. In theory, if we don't make this optional, it will be forced to match this to the Boolean version of add effect, right? Which would mean I would be forcing it now to do that. I'm not totally against that. That might be okay, because I usually specify it anyway. So why not make it mandatory? That way this isn't matching to that function anymore. Let's try this instead. JMB0, thanks for the follow. DLC, seasonal passes, everything behind microtransactions, all reasonable means to monetize after release, but reasonable is not how it's used. Yeah, I agree. It's just there's so much money to spend in so many places. It's kind of impossible to gain everywhere. Something has to give. Your money and time has to go to very specific things, right? So yeah. Let's hope that this did take care of it. It looks like there's a couple more effect ref bools here. Okay, they are popping up still. And we really should not be doing that. Okay, maybe we need to disable that one, right? Like, how do we force... I guess I have to just specify it, honestly. Like, I can do this and force... But we already have it up here. Is it just because it's out of order, maybe? What if we do that? Okay. Maybe. Maybe that fixes it. I saw you on YouTube. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. You get to catch me live this time. It's like when every movie and TV studio decide they need their own exclusive streaming service. Yeah. There are so many now. Money, 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 money. Extract as much money as possible, right? Okay, it looks like the initializer list things are going away. And now presumably these no matching overloads here are because we optionally left out the background parameter. Or, yeah, we did. So now what we have to do is, since background was false by default, we have to add back in those parameters manually to satisfy it. At least I think that's what we're trying to do here. Yes. So we have to do this essentially everywhere, which is fine. Oh, this is still popping up. Why? Why are we popping up? I don't... Okay. Template class. You can define your valid instantiations. So we want to invalidate a type. How do you constrain a template to only accept certain types? This typically is unwarranted in C++. We tend to define generic types based on other constraints. If you really want to do that, it's quite easy to do with type traits. Is base of. Is base of. So I could say is base of bool, hopefully. This breaks a lot of the concepts people expect in C++, though. It's better to use tricks like defining your own traits. I can't find day number 1 video. Yeah, day 1 was very, very, very long ago. And, unfortunately, what happened was Twitch... So I started streaming on YouTube, which is why they're not on YouTube. But originally I streamed on Twitch, and Twitch used to let you archive your VODs if you highlighted them. So that's what I did, right? I highlighted, like, literally everything. Unfortunately, Twitch enforced a rule sometime earlier, I think it was this last year, where they only let you keep 100 hours on your profile, right? So now, that just naturally deleted most of my content. It's not officially gone. I stored it all on a backup drive, but getting around to uploading all of them will take a very long time. And I would rather automate the process at some point, and I just haven't gone around to doing it. So day 1 definitely exists, but it's not available online, unfortunately. See, but this doesn't make sense. I guess if it deduces, like, if we static assert in a template, does it just not generate it on the fly? Like, it's not gonna crash my program, right? Like, I think that's the idea. T must inherit from... That message doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna leave it for now. Let me just build and see what happens if we do that. Yeah. Sorry if you were interested on seeing what the game looked like on day 1. I promise it was nothing exciting, but... Yeah, we've come a long way since then. Very, very long way. Like, day 1 was like my game designer being like, I have this idea, and then I'm like, okay, cool, let me go make a playable character that walks around a screen with a monster and see if that's a fun idea. And then I come back and we said it was kind of fun, so we started on it. I might have footage of like a clip I took from a long time ago, showing like the infancy of this project. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because it's actually in the OLC Discord. I posted it so long ago, which would be hilarious if I can find it. just gonna take a quick peek and see if I can find anything for it. It would have to be like 3 years ago or so. So that's a pretty deep dig, pretty deep cut. Let me take a look. Okay, I'm getting warmer. Ooh, okay. I think I found it. This is from 2023 on June 15th. I think a day after I got the idea from my game designer. I think we just literally made movement, we did monsters, and we did an ability. And I think that was it. That was the concept. That was the idea. It's cute. Come a long way since then. It says static assertion failed, so this is definitely not what I want. Because I don't want it to actually call an error on the compiler. I need it to not accept booleans on the template. I noticed you don't use AI. Yeah, I don't really have a reason to. I'm not in a hurry to develop my code. I don't have a code quota to reach, and I like learning and problem solving, so I don't really want AI to do that part for me, because that's the fun part. So I don't really have a good use for AI right now. Like, I like learning about the language, not having the AI type the code for me. Let me see. I do need to figure out what to do to restrict this type, though. Like, somebody's gotta have an answer. Restrict a C++ template type to a specific variable size. That's so specific and not what I want. Let me read this again. And we don't want... I don't think we want static assert. Like, that doesn't make sense. Unless we can assert it to, like... I'm trying to think. We would have to assert it to those types I mentioned. Which we could do. I could type them all out, but then I got the same line in 2 places, which is not what I want. Let me look at other metaprogramming stuff and see if there's anything interesting here we could use. Is member object pointer, is const, is volatile, is empty, is same, is constructible. You know what? Maybe we can just say if it's not a... Like, we just need to say it's not a, like, a boolean, right? We need to find something kind of like that. Like, there's gotta be something here we could use. Surely. Is floating point, is object, is scalar. Oop. Okay, type trait constants. Integral constant. So... like, is static assert... Static assert can't be the only way we can go. What are type traits and how do you make one that suits your variant types? Could you pass a coding Jesus C++ interview? I mean, it just depends, right? Like, what questions Coding Jesus were to ask. Because, one thing I think Coding Jesus likes to do is to, like, level with you. If you are clearly showing deep knowledge, you're gonna get deep knowledge questions, and enough to get challenged, right? I think the point is to try to challenge to your level as much as possible. So I think it really just depends. There's no, like, you could ask the most basic questions about C++ and I could probably answer them to some fair degree. But if it starts getting really weird, like, then probably not. Like, definitely not template or metaprogramming. And probably not anything to do with, like, let's say industry, what is it called? Like, there's a term for it. I know he uses it on his channel. I think it's called, like, quant computing, right? Like trading. And yeah, like if it's something about that, it's probably like anything related to like parallelism, multi-threading, probably not in my field either, because I don't really use those concepts. Yeah, so if it gets to that level, then probably not. Yeah, this is a lot of traits. I just don't know what we're gonna do with this. Like, the only other way I can think is to change the number of arguments here or get rid of this function. Like, this was made for a convenience. It's like, this was made to be a convenience function. So maybe I can restrict the T and U a bit more. Let me think about that. What does T and U have to be? It has to be a variant type, right? It has to be one of those types. Okay, so maybe we just insert effect T here, and then we solve this problem entirely. Then this doesn't have to be a template functioning. Well, we would have to extract the... I guess this part doesn't matter, really. We call add effect on a T. T is supposed to be... See, like, I think I messed this up. I think I should have gone with something more restrictive, right? Like, this should have been, like, an effect T. But I think the whole point was to make this be... Like, this seems okay. This seems like the right idea. Passing them into here, but I need to know what the types are then, because it's not going to be an effect T that we're interested in. A variant, it's going to want to narrow down into what the actual effect is. Maybe. Like... Maybe if the standard variants are correct here, then this would work out. Like... No, it would still have to be effect T then. Maybe you can deduce them. I'm gonna kind of make the assumption that it might be able to deduce them and see what happens. So let's go back to... So sandworm was an example, right? Add effect, comma, boolean. Is that going to resolve as the template type? Or is it going to resolve as this one? I don't think it can resolve as effect T now because it doesn't fit that. So I think by restricting the arguments on here more, we naturally just get rid of this problem. In theory. Like, the way I look at it is I'm more interested in knowing that I am a good candidate when it comes to programming concepts versus, like, very specific, like, language knowledge, right? So I think what a lot of employers are looking for, at least in an interview, is like, do you know, using any programming concepts you have learned so far, can you apply it to new stuff, new information? Can you use what you know to try and come up with a solution? Why is that solution good or bad? In an overall sense, I think that's what makes a good candidate versus just like, oh, do you know these specific things about C++? Maybe if you're applying to a very specific job where you specifically do one thing, but I don't think it's relevant for everything. Like, if you can program and you know how to program, you can pick up a new language pretty easily. You can learn a build system quickly. You can analyze the code and figure out what's wrong pretty easily. I think that's more the expectation versus How well do you know C++? How well do you know Python, right? Okay. So we're at a point where it's complaining about the default argument, so I'm gonna try putting it back now and seeing what happens, because now we got a bunch of add effects that are one argument, which was the default before like this came into play. So now that I'm bringing this back, will we be okay again? Since it won't match the effect T thing again. Oh, so far we're compiling, so that's good. Let's see where that gets us. Cannot convert from const array to array reference. Okay. How are we... Oh, right. It should be const because we're not allowed to modify it. So that should be a thing. Does that make what's coming out of it const too? I don't think so. I think only the array itself is const, but the members inside might not necessarily be. So I think we're okay there. Oh yeah, this is one big problem with templates, right? Is that if you change something, the whole thing gets recompiled. Naturally, once you build the template, it shouldn't be touched, really, but considering all the code lives in there, it's a pretty expensive change. Just something I'm noting as we go through this, because the compile time for my project is extremely long, so any change that requires a full recompile really sucks. Like, we won't see those changes for quite a bit of time. Which is why I did the source file and header splits so often, was because it actually results in faster compiles too. How true is Reddit's opinion on the tech market? Oh, well, I definitely cannot answer that because I am not in the tech market. Specifically software engineering, I graduated last year and had to settle on an analyst job. It feels like all CS grads should pivot from wanting to be a software engineer. I'll be honest, in the area I'm in, there are a lot of software engineer positions, so it could just be a locality issue. But there are a lot of people looking for software engineers, so I don't think it's a lack. It might just be... Okay, but we're talking grad, so grad is a little different, right? If you're a grad and you can't demonstrate the capabilities to get into a junior position, then that's actually rough. Because a lot of times you get the very... I know it's like, it's pretty much thrown around as a meme, right? But it's like, oh, need 10 years of experience, blah, blah, blah. Like, prefer, like, 5 years of experience and, like, 2 degrees or something, right? Like, it definitely is stacked against you if you are a grad. Because what they see on that paper is the first and maybe the only impression they're going to have of you, so... what is this? No matching overload found for dynamic pointer cast? This should be a trail effect weak pointer. Well, it's not going to be a weak pointer anymore. Now it's going to be an effect ref. So this is the first time we get to use our new effect ref. So we get rid of this in place of our effect ref system. Argument list for class template is missing. Oh, I forgot. We specify it, don't we? Trail effect. There we go. That should be okay. Yeah. So then we go back here. So we don't dynamic pointer cast anymore. We just set it directly to this function. Get to the end here. Or, excuse me, wait. I think that's good. You don't need this ending parenthesis. Okay. And then we have this down here. Well, I try. Yeah, I don't have any professional coding experience, so unfortunately I can't really touch on those subjects, other than regurgitate what more famous people say, but I really don't want to put words in other people's mouths, right? By accident, so I'd rather not say. Especially if I'm not involved in it. How does one get started on game dev? I followed a tutorial, but it never felt like my code. It is gonna feel like that for a while. What I would recommend is you find a project that's already like kind of built. Like the best example I have is like Game Maker always came with like some examples that you could just open, and the whole idea was you would open them, play them, and then mess with them. So you go and you change like the graphics, you change like, maybe you go in and look at the event system and maybe you like add or remove something and see how that changed things. If you can find a project that you like that's not relatively super complex, you can start running it and then toying with it and seeing how those changes affect things. Like, for my game engine I use, it's a little like framework called OLC Pixel Game Engine. There's a site called PG Tinker, which one of my viewers actually built. So you basically want to have something that you have established and that you can play with, right? Because you don't know what you don't know yet, so you need to see code that either does what you want or what code looks like in general, and you mess with it so that you get involved. You like play with it, you type things that are incorrect and see it like error out, and then you're like, okay, so I don't do that, I do this. You try to gain an understanding internally in order to progress. And this isn't game dev specific, this is just how you learn, right? This is taking a very long time to load. Moros, what is going on? This should be loaded already. I'm gonna try one more time. I'm trying to show somebody how good this is. Okay, anyways, like, you have this, right? This is a classic example that it just comes bundled with, and you're like, oh, cool. You have a little dot following the cursor, you have like mouse coordinates, you have some text on the screen, there's an image on the screen. You can click to change the color. How does this all work, right? You go down and you start looking at the code, and maybe you're like, well, I see the text here, so maybe I'll change it to like hi or something. And then I will run that, and now instead of saying hello OLC Pixel Game Engine, it just says hi, right? And then maybe you're like, oh, so if this is draw sprite, what if I try to add my own sprite? And you learn how to add a sprite by adding a graphic to your system and then drawing the sprite that way. Like, the way to learn is you probably need some examples to get you started. You're not really going to build your own code until you understand what is possible. Yeah, so this is called PGE Tinker, which is an online hosted platform for running OLC Pixel Game Engine, which is a C++ framework developed by someone that goes by JavidX9. He has a YouTube channel, and he made the OLC Pixel Game Engine, which is a single header file that you can copy into your project, and then there's some example code in the header file right here. And if you just add this example code and run it, you get a giant screen with a bunch of pixels. Actually, I can demonstrate that right now if I just did that myself in PG Tinker. I just go ahead and do the whole paste that and run it, and we just get a screen full of pixels, and it's probably gonna make my screen all fuzzy now. But yeah, like, and then once you have something like running, that's when you start experimenting, right? For the OLC Pixel Game Engine, since it's a single header, it comes, all the functions you would need for it are found inside like a single class called OLC Pixel Game Engine, or excuse me, Pixel Game Engine. So This is more C++ specific, but no matter what you're using, you're going to want to find all the core functions you can use and then start experimenting, right? If this says draws a single pixel, okay, cool. Take that piece of code, go try it, see what happens, right? And that's literally what you do. You're like, let me try draw. It says it wants an X coordinate. It says it wants a Y coordinate. It says it wants a color. I don't know, blue? It looks like I need OLC in front of it. And you just try it. Maybe you try running this and you're like, oh, it's complaining. Why is it complaining? And then it's like, oh, expected a semicolon afterward. You notice that things have semicolons in it. You run it again and then it actually works. And then you have a blue dot. It's very hard to see, but it's there. And you start experimenting. Yeah. That's the concept of learning how to program. Then you do this millions of times until you learn everything. That's how that works. This is no appropriate default constructor available. Okay, why are we doing default constructor? That's interesting. This is Firebolt's line 51. No default... Huh? Effect ref trail effect has no default constructor. Oh, I see. There's nothing... So I think we need to make an optional out of this, as in it doesn't start with any value, and then it gains a value. Or we have to initialize it. I could have sworn we initialized it on the fly. Let me see. If has... Oh, I see. We have a condition here. Technically, we could do this condition in the initializer. I'm pretty sure that's safe. Like, we can do flame trail. And then we can do... check for this condition, right? We can do a ternary operator here to determine if we call add effect otherwise, but then it has to possibly be empty. So there's the kicker, is we only make a flame trail under this very specific condition. That's the problem. So yes, it does need to be an optional in this case. So we're gonna do that. And because it's an optional, that changes our use of it. Now we have to extract the value. So we have to say if flame trail and not flame trail. So now this is an effect ref, so we need to... So we first find out if it exists, then we extract the value from the optional, and we check if it's not expired. I assume not... Ooh. Yeah, I assume not resolves last. Let's double check operator precedence. So not resolves... Where does it resolve? I don't... Oh, here. It's third. Right below member access. So member access happens before the not. Okay, that's good to know. And then do the same thing here. We learned yesterday that dereference has lower precedence than member access, so we do have to do that. Then we do .get, right? Then we do .set and pause. Perfect. See, this is the actual ideal use I wanted. It was .get. It already knows its type. We don't have to actually specify it once we get to this point. You should clip some of these answers. I'm sure some people would appreciate it. I do occasionally. I just want to make sure if what I say is not, like, wrong. So, fact-checking, right? Sometimes what I say is wrong. I've done it multiple times on the stream. I did it very recently, so... Before I just, like, post a clip saying whatever, I want to fact-check. Because sometimes I'm wrong. And when I'm wrong, I usually admit I'm wrong, just... I don't know right away if I'm wrong until I've made sure I'm wrong, or right. Because the other day, I think a viewer was telling me to use templates to create this, this system to determine the types. Where is it? I'll find it. Yeah, it was telling me to use templates to create these operator function overloads, and which you don't really have to know what that means, but I was using like a macro and like copy pasting this a bunch of time, and I said, I don't think the compiler would be able to figure that out. Apparently the compiler figures that out, because the variant stores all the types it would actually need access to. So in that case I was wrong, but I later corrected myself, so. Yes. I try to, though. If I find something that would be useful for everybody, I try to make sure I clip it. That way, one, I can reference it in the future, but two, other people can just know, right? So, I try. Alright. What's next? Cannot convert to weak pointer, so that's an artifact of our old system. So this was a weak pointer, now it's an effect ref of type effect. We can auto this, actually. So auto effect, and then this becomes effect.get. Perfect. Ooh, alright, we still got time. I think we're closing in. We're definitely at the part where it's like, okay, converting old stuff to new syntax. So, things are looking promising, finally. I do have to figure out what this, like, missing type thing is going on. Like, I'm pretty sure you can forward declare. Like, am I crazy for thinking that? Like, here's a standard variant, right, of pointers. Let's say a pointer to example... Well, let's just make something up. Let's say there's a type called fuzzy and another called pudding. I don't know. I just chose random words, right? Standard variant, pointers, pointer. It's gonna be one pointer. And then I forward declare these two classes because we don't necessarily have to know what they are, right? We just have to know they are pointers and that this type exists. We're like telling it it exists. Does this not compile, is the question. Okay, it does compile. Maybe it's because I'm not using it. Let me try using it. So let's say pointer equals new fuzzy. And, well, this is the part where we would need to know what a fuzzy is, right? Incomplete type is not allowed. But it does know how to allocate this data type structure, at least at first. I wonder if that means I can void star it if I know what is inserted into there. Like, what if I just did new, right? New... Like, can't you just specify, like, a size? No, I think you have to specify a type. Like, what if I did new int and then I casted it, right? I mean, in theory, that's now inserted into there. Who knows what that actually means? Does that compile? Okay, that does compile, because that a pointer is a pointer is a pointer. So... I'm not sure what it's asking me for right now with those messages. That's why I'm ignoring them so much. No matching overload found. Okay, this is probably old. Player line 499. Alright, where's player? Oh. Everything keeps opening up in that window behind me. I don't want it to anymore, please. So this thinks there isn't one that matches... Oh. One that matches effect and effect. Okay, so... It doesn't think this is the variant. So if I put... how would I go about this? It would need to be a variant. I would say effect T and then wrap effect inside of it. But then that gets me thinking, why don't I just do this myself? That actually makes perfect sense. So these can act... I think we finally found the true nature of this. that function should accept two effects, which then it converts to effectees, because effectees are variants of those effects. So I just specify here that they are effectees when adding them, and that will now resolve properly to here. Wait, no. That's not true, because these want to be the effect types themselves. So then we end up with that problem again? Okay, let me think a little bit more. It'd be like... It's more like we know what the types are when we get to here. I don't know. I think we need a different syntax for it. It needs to be something like effect, comma, effect. Maybe that syntax would be nice, and then specifying them like that to bring them in. That's not terrible. Like, I think that's implied. And then these would just be normal effects that are turned into effectees, wrapped around or casted as types T and U. Because that's what they are, right? They are of types T and U, but I want them to specifically be effects. So I think a static cast here is appropriate. I think that is what we want. We still don't want the effectee thing, though. This to me makes a little more sense. Yeah. Then this is okay. Like, it can auto-deduce like this, I think. If we specify it that way. Okay, that's interesting. I kind of like that. That's a little bit better than what we had before, while still providing that functionality. I really just want to get rid of the function and just add two effects, one in the background, one in the foreground, and specify them on two lines. I think that would be easier. I think my original goal was to just make one function to keep it clean and all on one line. I mean, as clean as you would call this giant line, right? But I don't know. I'm kind of not... Now that this is causing problems, I'm kind of not liking this decision. So if this doesn't compile and we're still getting complaints about it, I'm probably just going to get rid of it, honestly. We can divide it into two add effect calls, which would be better. I mentioned this before yesterday, but one of the hardest parts of figuring out new systems is designing them well to the point where you actually want to work with them, right? Because we're at the point where we're experimenting with all these different syntaxes that we just made, and we're finding like the strengths and weaknesses of them. So it's at this point where I'm like, okay, can I actually use the system that I made, or do I need to make changes? Are we running into... Do we have any friction, right? That's the big thing for me, is we're trying to figure out, with this new system, what friction points are we running into? Oh, I should have kept going because they're just more weak pointer stuff. Yeah, there's another one here. We're just converting all these to the effect refs now. So simple enough to do. So we got that one. And then we have another one right here. I'm just doing the same thing. Okay, we can't modify it? Why not? VF2D, VF2D. Is this not... Is this... Oh, it's an R value. Wait. If it's an R value, we can't modify it. Hold on. That's not useful. So we don't want to return... Okay, I think I talked about this earlier. I'm like, do I return an R value? Yes, we return... No, we don't return an R value, because we need the actual reference to it. Yeah, undoing is fine. For sure. What's going on here? Initial value of reference to non-const must be an L value. Is this not? This is const. How does this end up const? Oh, because the... Okay, because the list is... I see now. So in the end, we do need access to the list itself. So I need to friend class effectref. I wonder if that's allowed, considering it's now a templated class. That's interesting, right? Can I friend class? Or in this case, friend struct? Something that's templated? I guess that's the next thing we're gonna find out. Okay, so now I should be able to access foreground list, which lets me get non-const versions. It says it's inaccessible, which I think makes sense. Tricky. Like, I think I could specify it in the sense of, oh, argument list for, yeah, it's gonna want a specific template that has access to it, which... This has definitely got to change then. I guess we just make a public version of these and specifically say this is for, like, editing. Yeah. Because I guess the issue is I made these const, but, like, it's a getter. We were expecting that we can modify... Like, we can't modify the array itself, but we can modify the elements inside of it. I guess the question is, can I const cast the members inside of it? Just because the array is const? Because technically it's storing them. Like, why can't I const cast them and get access to them? I kind of want to do that. Anyways, I'm just going to remove constness from it now. And expect that myself will properly const cast it when I don't need to actually have write access. I think that's the best we can do for that. So this should now build, in theory. I'm just gonna go ahead and let build, since it's... IntelliSense doesn't want to tell me. And let's see what happens. I'm excited to get this finally built. We're getting closer. Now convert from effect to tref. Get foreground effects. Different type modifiers. Redefinition. Oh, oops. My bad. Forgot to change it here. What we do in one, we do in the other. Alright. Still recompiling. I should probably just stop this one. Okay. We have another dynamic pointer cast to fix, since it's no longer creating pointers. This is now an effect ref. I can just auto it. And from here, we can do .get. And modify it that way. So yeah, get no longer returns const, so we can actually modify the values now, which is nice. That's exactly what we want. A couple more here. Let's see. What's this one about? Cannot convert from effect to tref. Called from explosive trap line 106. Huh? Cannot convert from effect to tref. Any cast. Initial value of reference to non-const must be an L value. This should be? .at returns a reference to effect data. Effect data has a member called effect, which returns an effect t optional. This returns... Oh, is this? No, this returns effect t ref. And then we anycast to type t. Oh, I see. I think it said it converted it straight to effect. No, that's fine, right? Because that's what we want. So then effectref.get. I don't understand what the problem here is. Cannot convert from effect to tref. So effect t is type effect, t reference. This is an effect ref effect, which we can look at what it looks like with t equals effect. Standard anycast returns a new version of the type. Oh, so it's not a reference? That's weird, right? Anycast. I was expecting anycast to actually... Wait, anycast? That's not what we're supposed to use. We're supposed to use, standard get. I must have been... This must be a relic from when I had it as standard any. Wow, okay. I'm like, wait a second, standard any... Why are we any casting it? That's silly. Okay. Alright, what do you got? What is left? Oh boy. Static assertion failed on variant. Get requires t to occur exactly once in types. Do we have a bad t? We had t effect ref, trail effect. Wait, trail effect is not in there? Surely it's in there. Trail... Oh, trail effect is not in the effects standard variant list. Is it because it's like all inlined? Is that what happened? It's just in its own file and I never added it? Well, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Trail effect. Oh wow, look, we have an inlined header. So this type completely exists on its own outside of the effect type's header file. but it is indeed an effect and needs to be added to the variant list. So we do have to be careful about that. Any effects that are just header only, which I think I've done a couple times for simpler stuff, because they don't rely on any dependencies, right? Like, I'm seeing black hole here is one of them. So that would have to be added. Oh, but that means if trail effect doesn't exist here, it has to be included in effect types.h. That's interesting, because otherwise it doesn't exist. Yeah, it would have to be included here, which I don't know if that will result in a circular reference. I think that's going to start one, because this includes effects. So if this needs to know what effect types are to include itself, we're going to have an issue, right? Yeah, so it includes effect.h. Effect.h would include this, and then this would include effect types, which wants trail effect, which is going to include trail effect.h, and it goes in a circle, I think. Content is used in this file and transitively included. Oh, wait, transitively included? Is that fine? Oh, maybe it's fine. But there's something going on. Like, I think that's where this undeclared identifier stuff is coming from, is maybe we're having issues with that. Okay, incomplete type is not allowed. It doesn't know it. Right, so I'm gonna have to uninline this now, which is usually what happens with these, right? Is we have to separate them into implementation and declarations. And I'm probably going to have to do it with all of these, honestly, if we want to include them in the effect header file. So this is going to be quite annoying. And unfortunately, we're going to be running out of time, so... God, we're so close, like, I can smell it, but we're also still in the process of fixing these errors, so... We're getting so close. God, we're right there. We're just moments away. But you'll have to wait till tomorrow. Today is Wednesday? Yeah. You'll have to wait till tomorrow. Man, we are so close to having this system working now. It's, on the using side, it's a lot easier to use. I've abstracted away most of the insane complexity we've added, which is nice. Unfortunately, the amount of complexity this system has provided was pretty wild, to be honest. Like, this was a lot. And would I implement this for another system? Probably not. There definitely was a lot of pushback and experimentation, but I guess that's expected with this. We're gonna see next time. Hopefully this thing in action finally. How do you know if your changes work? One, you can run your game, but what we actually do is I develop, and I'm going to do it for this system, is we develop some unit tests, right? So essentially, we write stuff where we execute a bunch of code, and then we examine the state of the game and assert if the state of the game is incorrect. So once the effect system is done, I need to do a couple things like add in effects, remove effects, let effects expire, and then see if it works. If it does, then we know internally the effect system works as expected, right? If it doesn't, we go in and fix it. Then we can actually run it in game and see if, like, oh, maybe a graphic is missing, or a reference to a pointer is now incorrect, right? Like, stuff like that's harder to spot via unit testing unless you're specifically looking for it. And I'm a team of one, so I can't sit here writing unit tests all day. I have to actually work on the game. So I try to choose unit tests that are meaningful and have the most impact in the future. So yeah, that makes sense, right? Unit testing. It's a godsend. And it also lets us, we have like 200 something tests in here now. it lets us make sure all the previous systems are left untouched, like they still work, right? That's another big blessing, is that we can have some confidence that we haven't broken previous systems, and we can implement radical new changes to our stuff. You're welcome. Even for a game, for like a solo developer, unit testing can be very important. Once the project gets big enough, it was very easy to justify unit testing. Like, I couldn't hold back anymore. When you start getting scared of like one change affecting your entire game, it's about time, right? Okay. The header is actually not this, it's effect types. Okay. Like this. We're gonna need monster list. So that's in defines. And we include the monster list global somewhere. And we also need sound effect. Alright, that looks pretty happy. Oh, we also need the game pointer. So that's pretty important. That's going to be include Adventures in Lestoria. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this guy real quick. We should be good. So I can delete the header file now, because I've separated the implementation from the declaration. I'm gonna have to do this like 5 more times, so we'll work on that next time. I think this is a very good stopping point. Made a lot of progress, but still not enough progress to see the results quite yet. My hope is that tomorrow we actually get to a final buildable state, but we've been fixing a lot of errors, making the actual use of my system more usable. And so we're finally getting to a point where I think we're just fixing little things now. So we're almost done. Alright. I hope you all enjoyed today's coding session. It's been a lot of fun. If not a bit bizarre and chaotic, as it always is. Yeah. But for those of you that tuned in, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.